Hello again. First, before we start, I think we should all send out like best wishes and stuff to Harvey Elliott. If you saw the Liverpool game yesterday afternoon, you'll have seen that he was seriously injured. So let's hope Harvey Elliott is back playing as soon as possible, and we'll sort of send him a message of goodwill. He's a fabulous player. So on to music. Yesterday I suggested a song. What's a song that everyone thinks is really easy, and there's actually there's a lot more to it than you would think. Now, there's absolutely no way that Ted and myself are saying, hey, we saw you do this and you got it wrong. Hey, we saw you do this and you didn't do that bit. It's not that at all. It's just I am finding bits in Wishbone Ash's Jailbait from 1971, 50 years after the event. I'm finding bits that that I think I didn't know that was there. So I'm hoping, if you like the song, I can show you a couple of bits that you might go, just what I said. I didn't know that was there. So that's the intention of it. The reaction was great. So many people threw an opinion in of what the song might be, and I really appreciate that. So this is going to take a whole bunch of videos because, as I'm kind of alluding to, there's a lot of bits in this song. As you probably heard, that I've got a lot of delay. On the guitar, because it's Wishbone, it needs to be really echoey. It won't suit the rhythm parts as well as it'll suit the lead parts, right? But you'll get the drift of it all. And I'll show you every bit that I know. Now, if somebody listens to this and says, well, you're actually wrong there, that's not what he plays, that would be great, because as I keep on saying, that's how we learn. Somebody says, somebody could say to you, that bit in Kid Charlemagne, that's not what he plays there, that's not the scale, it's this. And when you hear that, rather than getting all pissy about it, it's far better to go, oh right, that's great, thank you very much. And that is how we all learn. Obviously it depends how it's articulated, but you get the drift. Right, so after 1971 and the few years, and up to the present day, bands play Jailbait because it appears on the surface, A, a great song, B, fairly straightforward to play. When I lived in North Wales, bar bands played it, pub bands, and club bands, function bands would kind of slip it in at the end of the night, when everybody was drunk and they didn't really care and they could dance to it, depending on how they danced. When I moved to Scotland, in Edinburgh, there were venues like Nicky Tam's and the Yellow Carvel, and there'd be all these great bands like Government Property and Hastily the Dog, just all Brodie. Just all these fantastic bands, and most of them would play Jailbait. It's just a really popular song that bands played. The Glasgow circuit of the Maggie, Burns House, Castle, the Curlers, again, all these bands would play this song. Great, right? And as I say, there's no intention to go, I saw you do this and you did it wrong. That's not the point at all. The point is to say, did you know that this bit was here? Because I didn't. And guitar nerd that I am, I find it really interesting. So this is going to take a whole load of videos because there's a whole load of bits. So I thought we'll start off. It's Monday morning. It's 9:18. Ted and I like an early start. A couple of cups of tea and we're away. That is Typhoo QT, the delicious brew in a glass jar. That's not product placement, by the way. It's just a sort of heartfelt. Yours is up there, Ted. Endorsement of a fabulous product. So let's get back to Jailbait. First thing you hear is like Martin Turner's playing the rhythm. Martin Turner and Steve Upton are playing it. Right? Now, there's a part that, shame on me, I didn't even know it existed and I only heard it when the BBC Wishbone live recordings came out. And it's there, it's smack dab in the mix. So how I mixed it, I don't know, you know, from 1971 onwards. But there's a part you probably know that goes... Right, there's all these double stops that go over there. So there's that part. Right, that part I didn't even know was there, but it is, right? Now the next part is what we would call the lead guitar intro. And you know, when you saw bands playing it, sometimes they would play the rhythm, but you know, not the same notes. So you hear some go. And then, you know, as a lick, that choice of notes is like, okay, you know, but it's not what they played. So, first thing you hear is this, you hear one E note, D bent up to here. And then it's picked twice, so you get the... Now, that's the very first phrase you hear. Now for a while I thought it might be... I've kind of settled on as the opening lick, right? Now there's not a wild vibrato in that first E note. There's going to be plenty of vibrato in the song as we get into it. Both guys, Andy Powell and Ted Turner, had absolutely A1 super duper fabulous vibratos. So first thing here is this one. Right, so what's that, right? We're playing the tonic, we're just playing the main note. You know, the band's going rump-a-dump-a-dump and we're going, you know, we're just playing the tonic, right? But, you know, it's a D bent up to an E and then the E kind of sits there. It's picked again. And then we go from that, which is like a 5-note minor scale. You know, the 5-note scale, don't ask me to say the word I won't. And we then go to B to C sharp. So that's sort of suggesting a major scale. So we're going major, minor. And that's C sharp, B, C sharp, you know? Now you may be thinking at this point, I'm labouring the point and over-analysing something that's, you know, pretty straight down the line. So you may think that, but you know, if you bear with me, please bear with me on this one, right? So we've got this E note, and then we've got the B up to C sharp, and it sits there. So, that's the first phrase. So forget that. I think it'll sound really, really like it. So the next time you hear a band play it in a bar, if the band are playing the rump-a-dump-a-dump, and the guy goes... you would go, wow, it's Jailbait. Right? Next line. Still major. This time we're going F sharp, pardon me, to A flat. We're pushing the F sharp a full tone to A flat. So now we've got rump-a-dump-a-dump-a-dump. F sharp to A flat. We now go down to a B note, anchor, and we go back to minor. Right? So that's anchor the B, push the G to A, avoid hitting the other strings, and we're nearly there for the intro, except we're not. Next thing you hear is an E note pushed up to G, which you will know is a tone and a half, and it goes like this. So it's like, so find that pitch, and you kind of have to find the pitch before you strike the string. So it's a pre-bend. You've got to kind of know where that G is. And there's loads of that. You hear the overtone comes through there? That was a bit sharp. That's better. Hear the overtone? Whole song's full of that, right? And then one little teaser like that goes. And that one is A pushed up moments to be, and back down. And we're there into, and that would be the first verse, and Ted Turner is about to start singing, and wondering why your face no longer shines. No, I don't know what it means either, right? So that's it. So put the whole thing together, and we've got that rhythm zone. Right. So we would think at this point, yeah, you know, we've got it. And if you want, by all means play that. I don't particularly like that part, and I would choose the other parts instead. So you think, well, that's it. We've got the bass and drums going rump dump dump, and we've got that solo. So we're home and dry, except we're not, because there's another part. Now, the album was engineered by Martin Birch, and it was produced by Derek Lawrence. I mean, he just made a fabulous job of Wishbone, and it's drenched in like echo and harmony. So it's Martin Birch, Derek Lawrence. Martin Birch, by the way, went on to work, not coincidentally, with Iron Maiden. And of course, when Iron Maiden came out, I don't think I would be the only person who think the harmonies were kind of like a metal version of Wishbone. You know, there's kind of, if you're a Wishbone fan, it seemed like there's a big influence in Maiden, you know, both great bands. So, when the song starts, there's an echoey harmonic. Now, I'm not playing a guitar with a tremolo bar, because I wanted to kind of show you, you can do this stuff without, later on in the song, there's a little, it goes like that you'll hopefully you'll recognise from the song. Now, I did that just you know, with my fingers without a bar, so it's played with a bar, but you know, the idea was I'll show you how to play this stuff without a tremolo bar. So if you play a Telecaster or, you know, an SG, you know, you can still do it. So if you imagine the count, there is no counting, it just comes straight in with the rump-a-dump. So if you imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, that's in the mix, right? Now these kind of harmonics can be overdubbed. That's an E harmonic, right? That could be overdubbed with a, and it gives a sort of shimmering sound. And sometimes the note you pick, as you'll know with Joe Satriani, you know, it's not the note you're fretting, you know, with Jeff Beck. The note you fret is not the harmonic, sometimes it's an overtone. So that's the first thing you can do. So we're going rump-a-dump-a-dump-a-dump. And this is somewhere in the ether, right? And it may actually be overdubbed with a going on at the same time, right? As the solo that is played, the next thing you hear is that G note, right? Now, if you violin in rather this G note, you'll hear after about a second an overtone. The overtone is a B, so you hear the B there, right? So there's that. So it's the first harmonic at the start of the intro. Then there's this G. And then there's a very piercing, trebly one, which I think could be a... Now that may be overdubbed with a... Right? All this is going on in an intro. So you've got bass and drums going rump-a-dump-a-dump. You've got the solo guitar. You've got... As well as all that, you've got... completely overtone, right? That's just the intro.